What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast. I'm Noxie.
What up, is Kiko.
And Nickums.
And we are back with Tangential tie-ins. Tonight we're taking a look at the smartest characters in anime and manga. Before we get into that, of course, take a look at the link tree down in the description. That's where you're going to see us on all of our individual social media accounts and other Project Manga related online communities like Discord. That's also going to be where you see us on audio-only platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. And while you're down there, there's also ways to support the Project Manga Podcast, including our Patreon that we started recently that's going to give you a litany of different tiers that you can subscribe to for extra content, including early access to all of our content and additional manga reviews in the form of a completely separate shonen manga review show that we do to cover all of the other shonen jump manga that we do not cover on our YouTube show. But with that all out of the way, getting into the topic at hand, we're looking at big brains. And I feel like before we start the conversation, I just want to throw this out here and see how you guys feel about this, because like when it and I always try to make comparisons of like Eastern and Western storytelling, right? Because there are smart ass characters in the West, like Reed Richards, Dr. Doom, like Luthor, Batman, and that's just like on like the big two like comic book side of things, you know what I mean? But let alone like science fiction, like light novels and things like that. But like when it comes to the Western like intellectual characters, I feel like you get a lot of feats in the form of, you know, like high like brain processing speeds, and you know, like they've cured X and Y, Z diseases. They've done, you know, all types of like, you know, interstellar, you know, like things while traveling out into, you know, the great beyond and whatnot. And they like brokered peace deals with like aliens. You get all these kind of like weird feats. But in like the East, I feel like it's like common where like you get the kind of character that always has like a million different backup plans and contingencies that they make you think they don't have. You know what I mean? Like they go into a conflict, and a lot of this is they go into a conflict, and a lot of the suspense comes from like, oh my god, how is he going to get out of this? And it's like it looks like they're about to lose, and then they push up the glasses like, I planned this 65 steps ahead, and then it goes through their entire thought process of like what they did before the fight even started that won it for them. You know what I mean? Like that's so much more common over in the East that it's like almost like a trope, you know what I mean? And there are a lot of characters that like follow that rhythm but do it in completely different ways, and we're going to highlight them tonight. But that is not to say that the characters we're going to bring up all follow that path. There are definitely a lot of different kinds of intellect that we're going to be discussing here tonight, and I feel like the first one that we should start with, just because I'm starting to get caught up to it because we're going to start reviewing it on our Patreon show, Senku from Dr. Stone probably has the single craziest big brain feat that I think I've ever seen in anything. And when they were all flash petrified and 3,700 years passed, he counted every second during that time accurately. And he didn't just do that. He was counting the time, because he wanted to make sure that if he did wake up, it was in spring, so that he would have plenty of time to establish a safe place before winter. But also, while he was counting, he was thinking of his master plan to recreate civilization. That is ridiculous, bro. You know how cold you gotta be to fucking count for longer than 10 minutes? The seconds?
Seriously.
And
do you remember like in Hunter, like Gon is trying to get really good at counting in his mind exactly 1 minute. It takes him like a whole like couple episodes, you know, of like training, quote unquote, to like get a minute. But Senku is like, oh, we're all petrified now? I better start counting incredibly accurately right now for the next 3,700 years. It's like, what do you mean? You already knew how to do this? What are you talking about?
That just doesn't compute, obviously.
You can't wrap your mind around that.
No.
Even though we have hard numbers to like let us know exactly what happened, it's still like unfathomable.
And he does it similar to when he creates the sextant, and he like just looks at the sky and he's like, it's been 25,646 seconds since sunrise. Like he just knew sunrise fucking it's like how do you just how do you have a constant perfect timer of time in your mind going thinking of all of this high tier fucking sign? Man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I think I heard a super crazy thing about Senku that like I don't know if this is like confirmed in the story because I'm not that far yet, but
Mhm.
I saw someone, I think, on the timeline, like, I don't know when, it was probably a long time ago, but his IQ, basically, I saw someone say it was like around like 600 or something. Did they ever say what his actual like IQ is in the series?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Also,
so they were
I'm
just
not
like
sure
making
that
that up, I
IQ
guess.
goes that high.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
probably not, but like
It definitely doesn't. And but I don't know. Is there like a new metric made for Senku? You know, he gets to just. I don't know. That'd be cool. But yeah, I don't know because
I don't recall it being confirmed. Yeah.
Well, and you're fully current, right, Nick? Like I'm still probably 20 back. I'm getting caught up too. But So okay. I don't remember that though. Yeah. But.
But wow,
Hey,
I don't know how the
600
IQ limit goes. Like I have no idea what the
stops at 420. Obviously, you got 420 IQ.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like another thing, like kind of similar to the counting aspect, is that in terms of how much like stuff he can hold in his brain as he breaks out of his rock shell and he's out in the world or whatever, he just has all of science memorized in his mind.
Yeah.
Like most scientists and engineers, you look at books, you use the internet. You're like, I need to do this. Well, I better look up how to do that or whatever. You know basically the concepts behind it.
Yeah.
But he has everything up here already.
Yes.
Amazing.
That's
Incredible.
So impressive. That is such. Dr. Stone is such a mind-blowing concept for a story. You know what I mean? And like, what a main character inside of Senku, dude. Like, and it's not just that he's just like the smart like he's got all of the main character qualities and some of like the really like historically popular like side character qualities. Because he's like kind of like shady, like backdoor deal kind of dude too, from what I'm seeing right now. But at the same time, like he digs his heels in for his like morals and his even though everything is logic based, he's still very much a shonen main character in regard to like what he does for his friends, how he feels like with what side of morality he's on and things like that. And it's very easy when you turn yourself into a computer and you're very brooding and calculated, especially with someone who's talking about logic as often as he is, for you to understand like utilitarianism and or for you to agree with it rather, you know what I mean, and for you to like be okay with making sacrifices for the greater good, you know what I mean. And
that's such a good point, like in terms of like being super rational, utilitarian, digging his feet in for like his what he believes is right, and it shines through so often in the sense that what he believes is right is humanity's potential for knowledge and growth and science. And so there's scenes in the story where like he might die, you know, and he's like, I better be rational about this. Hey, do you want me to like teach you science? Because if I die, it doesn't matter. But science needs to live on, and he knows that is the more important thing than his own being. You know what I mean? Very powerful.
Definitely. And just even like so. Obviously, he's the greatest scientific mind to ever exist, basically. But he also has like charisma and tact and like strategic in combat. Even like he basically orchestrates a whole fucking war to be bloodless. Like there was definitely about to be a whole giant fucking war between people, and nobody really gets hurt and other than him a little bit. But it's like he for him to like win over Tsukasa's people and stuff like that, a couple key pieces, and like to just be so aware of his limitations that he's like, okay, I need this guy, I need this guy, I need this guy, I need to have these people on my team to do the things that I can't do, even though I can basically do everything there is, other than like the actual like practice of what like Kaseki can do, the shit that he's making and whatever. Yuzuraiha fucking has huge fucking like crafting crafting ability that he utilizes. He can just utilize all his pieces perfectly as well. Like it's more than just the scientific mind that he has.
And going back to like the strategy and tactics side of Senku, right? When Shishio is like ran up on him when he found the gunpowder, right? And he breaks his fucking like cerebral cortex or some shit or whatever the vertebrae is, back there. But he planned ahead of that, and he was as soon as Shishio woke up, he starts playing with his neck all the time to show a weak point in his that he figured Shishio would exploit eventually if he ever did turn on them. Right, this his forward thinking and his foresight in that regard, because he still had the piece of petrification on the back of the nape of his neck. So that when Shishio attacks him, he knew that he would go to his neck because he kept showing that's a weakness. And then when he breaks his neck, what's his best friend's name?
Chrome?
Taiju.
Taiju.
Oh, Taiju.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Taiju,
yeah.
Taiju, and Yuzuriha fucking carry his body to the forest, find his gourd with his like healing elixir in, or with his depetrification elixir in it, and then like see the patch of like stone on the back of his neck, and they're like, wait a minute, Senku told us that this fixes the bone, like any kind of damage in the area that it's, so they point, and he's like, oh, I didn't think that you guys were gonna get it. I gave you like such subtle hints that like they might as well not have been hints at all, but you guys fucking did it, and it's like bro, like
Yep.
what a thug.
And it's obviously with a mind like this is a gift that you're basically born with. I mean, we know like how I mean, that wasn't actually his biological father, right?
No.
Inugaki wasn't, right? Okay.
No.
But even still, like that helped him really pave his way. But you get to see like these little flashbacks too of like it's a really funny scene where it's like he's doing some experiment where he's like a little ass fucking kid, like 5 years old, with the fucking magnifying glass on whatever paper and shit. And the old man walks by. That's a cute little experiment. You know, next time he's got like a hovercraft and he's like, what the fuck's going on? And the next time it's like a big ass fucking rocket machine. He's like, this is like yesterday he was doing them.
He keeps coming by so saying like it's cute. Like the first time he's like the magnifying glass, he's like that's cute, and then the next time he's got the hovercraft, he's like that's cute. What? and then the third time it's like literally just no words, dumbfounded. It's a rocket.
Because it is a whole rocket. And another thing is he knows multiple languages, and obviously that it's like if you have all these things in your brain, like we already talked about, like he doesn't like forget any like compounds or whatever, like of anything basically.
Right.
So to have all that and still like know multiple languages, because there was Gen and Ukyo like speaking English into the phone that was under the ground, and he acted like he didn't speak English, but definitely did and understood everything they said. And it's just obviously big brain play after big brain, and who knows how many languages he knows, but
all of them.
English is and English is
probably
is
not
the most
all of them,
and English is the most spoken language in the world, I believe.
Especially for science, like papers and research papers or whatever, like a lot of them would be in English or whatever.
So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he just knows English, but you just like, I doubt it. I'm pretty sure he's gonna know like most major langes,
like French, German, probably, Russian, probably.
Yeah, and I felt like there
Arabic.
was,
or other like Middle Eastern languages. But what's really important for Senku's character, and just for like the story of Dr. Stone in general, that I'm coming to find out, is that usually inside of a shonen story, half of it is watching the character grow into something bigger than what he started as. And you see, different spikes in their strength, or different spikes in their outlook or intelligence even, you know what I mean, as they make their way through their development and through their character arc. But with a character like Senku, like he's already got all of the information. So you don't need to see him get smarter. You just keep unlocking more of his smartness as time goes on. And it gives that same vibe, of an almost even a better vibe than 90% of shonen stories, to see a fucking main character grow, because you're just like, okay, how much does this character know? Not what's his potential for growth. Right. You know what I mean? And that is such a cool spin on the genre. I feel like, it's kind of like Seven Deadly Sins or Nanatsu no Taizai, right? That's a shonen story where the characters were already godlike in the beginning, but you just keep seeing more of their strength as time goes on. Right. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's so fresh and just like such a good idea in the current landscape.
It's kind of like not so much how much can you grow, but how far can you go with what you've already got.
And like you're saying, exactly, it's very different to just the story will progress based on what he knows, but he basically knows everything, and it's just how he's utilizing it to progress the story. And it's definitely different than pretty much anything I think I've ever seen. Like I can't think of anything like this really, where it's just like you already know everything, sometimes there's, so it's almost like a One Punch Man scenario. Like he's already as great as he's going to be, right? And it's just, how is it going to be used, except for, One Punch Man is a gag, and Dr. Stone isn't. But hey, do you guys remember when we used to think Taiju was the main character? Obviously it was called Dr. Stone the whole time, but it just really looked like the first like couple of chapters that Taiju was the main character.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, obviously that wasn't the case with, and it's just like Senku is just not typical shonen MC. Like he's not, Like he has no
even though he has
Senku
charisma.
Yeah. In the sense of like,
I was like, Taiju's definitely like
Taiju is Taiju is the normal shonen MC. Where like Senku, even though he has like the charisma and the tactics to win people over, it's not like he's like
simple-minded or pure of heart or
win. It's not a Naruto or I can get everybody on my side, Luffy. You know, like whatever. You know, I'm just gonna win everybody, and he can do that when he needs to do it strategically. It's it's just. Doesn't seem like it should be in a shonen manga.
Right.
Magazine. Yeah.
Right.
So I wrote down a bunch of the inventions that Senku created in the first season of the anime, so we don't have, spoilers, so to speak.
Right.
Obviously, he figures out the revival fluid, which is probably pretty amazing by itself.
That's a huge deal.
That's a kind of a new thing, right? Like, I don't think science knew about people getting petrified, you know what I mean? Like Medusa, you know what I mean? So he figured that out. His skills go even into culinary stuff because he was able to create cola and ramen. You know what I mean, just from the crops in the area of the village or whatever. Electricity, light bulbs, batteries. Like what? Are you kidding me?
Like whoa. All in the first season too. It's like
just the first season. We're not even the crazy stuff yet in the first season. It's just really cool though. Suika has like bad eyesight, and so does
Ginro, one of them.
I think Ginro.
Is it Ginro?
I forget, but
which
one of those.
Gold?
Keen is.
So I think it's gold. I think it's Kinro. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
okay.
All right, go,
all right. Well, we're really stretching my memory here. But he made glasses, like actual prescription glasses or whatever. That's not a minor feat or whatever. No. And then obviously at the end of season 1 they make like a microphone and a cell phone, you know what I mean, like a radio kind of thing. It's like when he first said,
like a ham radio, right?
Yeah, it's like a ham radio kind
of
thing.
But it's a little bit more advanced than that. I feel like it's like it's closer to like a two-way or like
a walkie-talkie.
Yeah,
but I remember like reading the manga way back, when it was at that point or whatever, and like it's like, we're gonna make a cell phone. What do you mean you're gonna make a cell phone? There's no satellites in the fucking sky. What do you mean? Of course he doesn't mean.
Who the hell are you calling? Who are you calling?
Who are you calling?
Can you hear me now? Good.
I gotta order a Domino's real quick. Like, what are we doing with this?
What if we got the scene like what's that? Like once they finally got him working.
Jesus Christ.
And then like a huge, I think one of the most powerful parts of season 1 is they're trying to create the antibiotics. Of course, like antibiotics by itself is already impressive, but they have to like collect like sulfuric acid or whatever. So he made like gas masks, and like they had to risk their lives to like go to this like sulfur water pit or sulfuric acid pit or whatever that was or whatever. That's like super scary too.
Yeah, this is like some of the deepest like amount of research that that I am aware of a mangaka doing about anything going into, or a mangaka.
Those diagrams?
I don't know how, I don't know how
this is written week to week.
It's written week to week. I don't know the mangaka author's background in anything. I don't know like what he does in his regular life, but like if like let's say he's not a genius or like obsessed with physics, like we can assume that he pretty much is, but like let's say he's not, and he just said, I want to write this kind of story, so I should probably do the research for it.
Right.
That's fucking ridiculous. And even if you are a big like physics nerd and science nerd, you still have to do copious amounts of research to write a story this accurate. There are times where like he's talking about when he's making the gunpowder, and you get like a little like mini chibi Senku disclaimer, like, yo, this is actually real process. Do not do this because you could die. And then it goes back to like the story, you know what I mean? And it's like, this is not pseudoscience to any degree. No, this is actually the real deal Holyfield science shit. You know what I mean?
And
that's wild.
Yeah, that's definitely crazy. Nick, you reminded me when you're saying he made the cola and ramen. He can bargain, right? Like he knows what people want, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get you this, so you can do the thing that I need to help us all." Basically, obviously, what you're gonna do is gonna help us all, but I can bribe you. Cola was for Geen, right? Gen, whatever.
Gen.
Who is the mentalist? Which Senku kind of goes toe to toe with him in that I guess in psychology,
right.
from time to time, you know. But yeah, like that's impressive. It's just like he knows everything. He just knows everything of all types of science. Like I was saying, it's biology, chemistry, physics, all of it, whatever, everything.
Yes.
Yeah,
literally everything. Wow, what a character, man. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about Senku?
Nah.
No.
Okay.
Super interesting story. Great story. Can't wait to cover it.
Yeah.
10 billion% a great pick for this episode.
Yeah.
Moist.
Who else do you guys think we should talk about next?
Let's go maybe with the Death Note trio or duo.
Yeah. So Light and Kira, right? Or Light.
I was to say
L and
his,
Light. Yeah.
L and his two, prodigies or whatever. There's a little trio there. But L and Light. L
Near and Mellow.
Yeah, Near and Mellow.
But Light and Kira and L is way easier to say than L and Light. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know.
They're both L's, but yeah, dude, holy shit, bro. So Death Note was the first time that I experienced the kind of like story that like I was kind of talking about at the beginning, where you get like a really like deep dive into a battle of wits and like super like frighteningly like high intellects in your
psychological thriller.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And just like L as a detective, and like I had seen Detective Conan actually before. I had seen Case Closed before Death Note.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? But like, and Conan is definitely one that deserves being brought up too, but he can just be like a light mention for now. But like,
sure.
But like, it wasn't until Death Note where I was like, okay, this is like, Conan is definitely the kind of detective. If I was ever going to be a detective, I'd want to be like this little kid. But like L, it was a different animal, bro. I think I remember he's like 10 years old and he fucking like started investing in stocks and became a millionaire in like a couple years or some shit like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and then like by the time he like started like middle school or some shit, he had already solved a murder case with absolutely zero clues. You know, like they're just like dropping
unsolvable mystery.
Yeah, an unsolvable mystery. They're just dropping feet after feet after feet for this dude. He flew a helicopter with no prior training, like whatsoever.
He's somehow a tennis champion. Him and Light are just tennis champions. Yeah, the two tennis champions are facing off here, and it's like they're both fucking running through their, thought processes. Like, should I miss? If I miss, like he will think I missed on purpose, and then he'll know I'm Kira. It's like,
like how are you playing chess? Like while playing tennis at the same time? Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like you're playing chess flavored tennis. Like that's fucking
so crazy.
Dude, he stopped a world war at like 9 years old. I just remember they said that. He like
that's some crazy
I remember when they were talking about like how tight L was and like why like the Japanese, bureau of or whatever, the precinct or whatever was like, so what's the deal with this L kid? And they were like, L this and they're like naming off all the reasons why he's tight, and Light's dad is like blowing his cadet's mind with all the things that L has done or whatever. And it's like, he totally like prevented a world war before he was even in middle school or some shit. I'm like, bro, what the
case
fuck?
Closed then. We win. I'll see you guys later. I'm going home. Let this guy take care of this shit.
And they were talking about how he has like the intellect of like multiple like intelligence bureaus by himself and like multiple police like and detective like precincts and shit like on his own before long before he even took the Kira case, you know what I'm saying? And it's like it's just disgusting. And then like it only took him like what was the crazy time frame on like when he figured out like half of the Death Note's rules? I think it was like under a week. He found out that he was in Japan. He found out that he was a student. He found out he needed a name and face to kill somebody.
Yeah, he looked at like the times. It was like the times. He's like, only a student could be operating in these times. Then he puts out the fake L. So and gives out the actual name. So that's how he knows you needed the face and the fucking name. Like it's just he baited him
because he knew that the only way that you could get that you could have gotten that information on that broadcast is if you were in Japan, because it wasn't international.
Not only that, in the Kanto region, it was only broadcasted to the Kanto region.
So
that's so disgusting, bro.
He takes away 2/3 of the population of Japan. So then boom, it's even more strict or whatever that he knows.
Oh my god, dude! I fucking completely fell in love with this series like right away. You get all of this in like the first 4 or 5 episodes, bro. And there's like
you get a lot.
And there's like 40 episodes. Yeah, you get so much so fast, but it doesn't feel too quick. And it just
almost seems like different. I mean, obviously the premise is still the same, but like once like the other Shinigami's involved, you know, like it starts to get like way, you know,
more on the supernatural aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely. And that's cool too. Like obviously both of those parts, and like talking about Light, like he manipulated that other Shinigami, was it Shinigami to kill Light,
to kill L.
Or L for him, exactly.
Like, and that's one of Light's like greatest skills. Like Light is wildly intelligent. He's wildly capable in pretty much anything that he does. He's literally just a perfect human, basically. Besides his god complex and his arrogance, which is the reason why he lost in the first place. Otherwise, no matter how fucking smart somebody is, they are not going to find out you have a magic book that fucking kills people. By like, it was because he wanted to be Kira. He wanted the world to fear him. He wanted his name to be like world renowned. That's the reason why they were. If he just fucking kept to himself in his fucking room, how the fuck are you ever going to? Yeah,
he blatantly took the challenges that the Japanese special forces gave him. Like, and it's like he definitely knew the whole time, like, if I just chill on this, like, they definitely wouldn't figure it out.
Exactly.
But it's like, if I just keep killing and I keep, doing these things, it's like he invited the game. Like, he took it as a game. Yeah.
But that weakness that they gave him, that the author gave him, is the perfect weakness for him to have because absolute power corrupts absolutely or whatever. Not just to have a good, he had to have a good plot, but also it's so organic, you know what I mean? Because, like, it's just like giving, someone a raise at your job. You know what I'm saying? You get a little bit of fucking power and all of a sudden you start wiling out. You know what I mean? All of a sudden the timid dude in the back of your fucking, job that never fucking said anything to anyone gets a promotion. Now he's shouting at fucking everybody and telling everyone what to do and putting people on suspended, like, unpaid leave and shit like that. Like all types of fucking shit that you never would have thought he had in him. You know what I mean? Just because you give him an inch and they take a fucking mile. So like this arrogant, like god complex that he, like, even for a character as smart as him, it just shows that you get that power and you don't know what to do with it. And it's always your downfall. You know what I mean? But one of his biggest strengths, though, besides his intellect, is definitely just how cunning, like, and that kind of like plays into intelligence, but like he's a really good actor. In really tense times where like all eyes are on him, he keeps his cool. You know what I mean? In times where people would be shaking because they're so scared that they're going to get found out, he's perfectly still. He's perfectly like
L tells him right to his face in the middle of class, "I'm L." Like he was Ryuga whatever or something, and then he just tells him right to his face, like, and looks him dead straight in the shit, creepy as fuck. Because L is creepy. Like, I'm L. It's like, and he doesn't fucking budge a wink.
He doesn't flinch at all, bro.
Yeah, and he's still kind of panicking within his mind. He's like, oh my god, like, and running through all these thoughts, but like can't tell on his face, can't tell by his demeanor, and that's some other shit.
The potato chip scene. The potato chip scene, bro. Yeah. Oh, I take a potato chip. And he's putting his hand in the bag, and he has to like make sure that like the frequency and like speed at which he's grabbing potato chips doesn't reveal that he's writing in the death note inside of the bag of potato chips. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, that's a meme. That shit's been memed to hell and back.
Oh,
but like
forever.
But like that is one of his coldest feats, bro.
For sure.
Yeah,
it's the only story I'm sure ever in the history of the world to make eating potato chips that riveting, right? Like it's like nobody has ever sat there and like been like, damn, this man, he's eating potato chips, It's like, it's just crazy but I mean, Light does a lot of crazy shit, I mean, like he with Ray Pember, how he got him to write down all the FBI agents, threatened him, like was right behind him, and then had to deal with his girlfriend too, which is taking a huge risk. See, that's the thing. It's like, obviously, how would you know that he came there with his girlfriend? They're both from America, because he was an American FBI agent. Yep. Yeah. But like,
probably just tell by his name.
But his girlfriend's Japanese.
His girlfriend's Japanese. And he didn't know, and he. Light encounters her by chance going to like the police station. Hey, I brought my dad's lunch, like, and then he's like listening to all the shit she's saying and follows her outside, and then like talks to her, kind of gains her trust, but then asks her name. She gives like an alias. He tries to use the death note on her and it doesn't work, and then has to convince her again. Like, it's like a 2 or 3 tier convincing to finally get her to give the ID. Like, in that, that whole discourse that he has with her, it's crazy. Like I just once she gave the alias, I was like, there's no way in hell she's telling him shit. Like she's on it. Fuck it. She's about to be one of these investigators that are going to help this shit. Like I thought for sure she was getting on the team to help get Kira, and nope, out of here. Got her ass. You know, like,
right.
Oh my god.
It's crazy, like getting more memories of the show or whatever. I find it really interesting that obviously Light is super smart too, like nothing to say he's not like as smart as L, though L probably is smarter. I think it's interesting that like even though L knew that Light was Kira, basically he had like a very strong intuition.
Dude, he was so positive so early, but you have to corner him. You can't just suspect him. You have to get it to be obvious.
So I think it's interesting that like L did kind of win in smarts, but he just couldn't make the leap with the supernatural aspect, right? So like then Light was able to trick Rem into killing L, and it just like, but then his hubris ended up biting him in the ass anyway later, right? So it's like, and I think that's why.
Well, old girl had actually like sacrificed herself to get him. I think at the very end, she
that's right.
For Near to actually, or was it Mello?
No, Mello sacrificed.
Sacrificed, so that Near could,
But I think definitely like I think most people really like L, and there's even a live action movie starring L with no Kira at all. You know what I mean? Like it's just like L.
Oh,
like,
really?
Solving a case against like some terrorists or whatever.
No
like,
way.
Terrorists. Yeah. It played in theaters like I don't know 10 years
in
ago.
In our theaters.
Oh,
I need that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it played here. I saw that there was other shit, but I haven't seen them. But yeah, that's really cool.
Oh my god, that is awesome.
I'd like L a lot more if he just wore shoes, man. Like that's all he had to do. All he had to do, and him sitting there with his feet on the chair. I'm like, get your feet off my chair, man. And
that increases his brain capacity. That increases his like processing speed.
Yeah, I know. Whatever he said, like 40% or something.
Yeah, he like if he sits regularly in a chair, it decreces his like mental capabilities by like 40%.
Yeah, it's the original Rick James L stomping on his fucking chair. He's got muddy feet. He ain't got no boots. His feet are just muddy.
I got him. That's hilarious.
Oh my god, I really want to just start quoting Chappelle Show a lot, but that's not the kind of.
That's where it ends. But that's great.
Oh my god. Okay, Light and L, dude, definitely needed to make the list for a conversation like this. I mean, who else do we got?
One we definitely got to cover tonight. Bulma. You know what I'm saying?
Bulma.
Yes.
Like
Bulma's a super slept on big brain pick, I feel like.
100%.
Like I feel like people forget that she's like,
just like
wildly
intelligent. Yeah, like I don't know how you would forget that, but I agree with you.
Like how do you forget about the character that invented the Dragon Radar, which started the entire series in the first place? You know what I mean? Like she's the reason Dragon Ball happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And like there's so many crazy feats that she has that'll be just like little small moments in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, etc. Like when they first like, I remember Krillin like takes fucking Raditz's scouter off his dead body, and it's like from the point of view of the scouter, so it's coming off. He's like, whatever. Yeah. Like Bulma's like, give me that shit, like trying to. Okay, this shit is in some weird fucking alien language, busts out the fucking Swiss Army knife, starts hitting the circuit board, puts it back on, boom, English.
Yeah, boom, or boom, Japanese or whatever.
Exactly. But whatever language.
Dude, I completely forgot about that. Oh my god, that was so gangster.
To like understand alien technology in that way, that's
a
super
big deal.
Brain
that's
feed.
a really
big
deal.
Feed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, it's like my Bulma like feet retention is so low. But like I know that she has like amazing like, and see that's another thing why I'm glad that we did this topic, because like I feel like every character that we're going to bring up tonight is smart in like an overall general way, but also in like really specific niche ways that are different from each other. You know what I'm saying? Like Senku obviously is just like, you can do anything, you know what I mean? Any area of intellect he excels in. But like away from Senku, you have characters that are either like really crazy inventors, or you have characters that are like really like diabolical, cunning, strategic, You know what I mean? Like forward thinkers that like think both
psychological and high deduction skills.
Yes, exactly. You know what I mean? But like going back to Bulma, I know that she has. You want to know what? We should Google like her inventions, because I'm sure that there's like a fucking, unless like one of you guys have her. Okay. Yeah. So what's some type shit that she's done?
So, like, for example, Frieza's, the Ginyu Force and whatever, like, and the Namekians, they have, like, the battle armor, right? Well, she looks at the battle armor and, like, figures it out and actually makes a better version of the battle armor that they even had. That could withstand, like, the Saiyans,
Super
power
Saiyan levels of power. Now, and Vegeta can run with it basically forever until Buu Saga. So, like, he's running with it through all of Android Saga because she increased its durability. Yeah.
Right. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Did she make the gravity room, or is that, like, her dad?
So, let's say... Okay, Brief made the first one. Brief made the ship that Goku takes to Namek.
Yes.
But that only goes to 100 times gravity. Once it comes back, Bulma alters it to go to 200 times gravity that Vegeta was training in when they fell in love. And then she makes the entire gravity room that they live in that go to, like 500 times gravity.
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, it's kind of almost a theme where she like reverse engineers and like recreates other people's shit.
She finds out how it was done and then makes it better after understanding it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, and of course,
Bulma's such a good fucking pick, dude.
I got a little sleeper thing that I don't know if you guys might know at all, because it comes from what's it called? Jacko, the Galactic Patrolman.
Oh, his like
Jacko.
Side story.
Isn't that
story.
Super?
Yes. That's Super. Yeah, Super.
He
has like a side story comic, right?
Well, yes, he does.
That's like the little tiny like alien police guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I've seen him.
And in that, Bulma's 5 years old. It goes in the past. Bulma's 5 years old, and he's helping him fix his spaceship and fix his shit he don't even know in his own spaceship.
Oh my God.
Get the hell out of here.
Dude, Bulma's so fucking slept on. Everyone forgets how tight Bulma is, bro. They just like they see Bulma and they think Vegeta's wife. Or they think, the girl who played Yamcha.
She's nagging all the time. It's like,
it's like, no,
she might be, but like, hey, she's the only intellectual character in the entire story. Sure, Dr. Brief and Dr. Zero or whatever. There's other ones technically, but like not that are in the story like consistently, of course.
Right.
You may remember when you mentioned Dr. Gero or whatever. She takes open Android 16 and removes his bomb.
Yep, and so she totally repairs them too. Actually, totally repairs them and makes him stronger to go back and fight fucking Cell. And then that's when he jumps on Cell, and then Cell blows him up and stomps on his head. But yeah, totally repairs him and makes him better.
Yeah. And you can't talk about Bulma's feats without talking about the time machine.
Oh, the time platform.
The Earth is being completely destroyed and ravaged by androids, and everything's fucked, and all the Z fighters are dying except for Gohan and Trunks or whatever. And you know what? I better make a time machine. I think we gotta we
gotta try this again.
This didn't work out.
If we want to count GT, which I just counted Super, so I say we can count GT.
My GT memory is so fucking trash,
I don't do
dude.
GT.
Go ahead, take it.
Go for it though.
So Bulma takes the moon's energy, the light energy, turns it into the Blutz ray, which she shoots Vegeta with. He gets to skip Super Saiyan 3, goes from 2 to 4.
Oh yeah.
That's how he gets to 4.
I'm still mad that we never got Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, but keep going.
Yeah, she somehow harnesses or manipulates the moon's energy to, and which makes, a good enough sense in the world of Dragon Ball to why that would give him a power up to skip, and so they can fuse to fight Shenron, Omega Shenron.
Yeah.
So does that make her stronger than Superman? If Roshi's stronger than Superman because he destroys the moon? I'm just
oh my God, I was about to turn up, bro. I was about to take the glasses off. I was about to turn into fucking Superman myself. Oh my God.
I'm trying to think of any more. I mean, because there's a lot of like little ones in Dragon Ball. I think we're overlooking. Like I think she like totally concocted, like quickly made a submarine for them to go down, like to fight. They fought General Blue, like in that tunnel down below, or maybe that was just a Dino Cap. It's so hard to know because it's like everything could just be a Dino Cap. Which who knows? I feel like she improved on her father's technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Brief invented the Dino Cap, but I'm pretty confident she improved on that as well. And it's like, I mean,
Brief, Trunks,
Yes.
Bulma.
Bloomers. Bulma.
Yeah, Bloomers.
Bulma is
Bulma is bloomers?
Yeah, like
Trunks.
Buduma.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
and then Trunks,
bro.
Trunks and
Yeah,
Buddha. They're all named after undergarments. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Come on, don't tell me you didn't know that.
That's
no.
All right.
Filthy casuals in here.
You know that the Saiyans are named after vegetables, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Nah, dude. No. Because like I just remembered that like on Twitter, someone like did a tweet where it was like who's I don't even know, but it included Bulma in like the choices, like a poll.
Sure.
But it had everyone's first and last names.
Oh,
and it said Bulma Briefs.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Briefs.
yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck is? I was like, Bulma's last name is Briefs, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I quote retweeted it saying Bulma's last name is Briefs, like question mark. And people were like, you didn't know that, bro? And I was like, I mean, whatever.
No.
But that was the end of it.
You didn't know
but
that,
then
bro?
I didn't think about Trunks afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh my god, right now.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
She's a super good pilot. Like that gives them some brains, you know what I mean? Like
she operates any heavy machinery of any kind. She jumps into fucking cars. Cars and motorcycles are one thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, a plane is far more advanced than that. But, you know, submarines and just all the shit, bro. And I'm pretty sure, doesn't she? One of the Namek ships too. She takes and
maybe
and alters as well. Actually, I'm pretty confident. The ship that Goku went to Namek in was once his own pod that fucking Dr. Brief makes 1 billion times bigger with all these things in it. And I think Bulma does the same thing with the one that Goku steals from the Ginyu Force to go to Yardrat and then to get home. And I'm pretty confident that's how it goes to make the one that Vegeta trains in. Because that's basically, again, she took her father's stuff, expanded on it, made a better gravity chamber within the ship, and I don't know, we don't really get to see. I remember like a funny scene where like Goku, he's like running up to Dr. Briefs after they're already on the way to Namek, and he's like, hey, you got a ship for me? You know, I heard you're working on something or whatever. And he's like, yeah, come look at the ship. They go inside. Everything's all tight in there. And and he's like, oh, this looks like ready to go right now. And he's like, nah, we're not quite ready, right? And then he's like, well, what do we got? And he goes through all like the specs and everything. And Goku's like, seems like we're ready to go, right? He's like, nah, there ain't a cappuccino machine yet. I got to get that installed. I've been having a problem with the cappuccino machine the whole time. And then Goku's like, what the hell is cappuccino? I ain't got time for this shit. Let me get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, and then it's funny, like he jumps in and like takes off and like fucking like Bulma, or not Bulma, like Chi-Chi and everybody, they don't even know. He just jumps in the bitch and takes off, and like they're all watching him go away, and Dr. Reeves is like, I bet he's hollering for cappuccino already.
Dude, Dragon Ball comedy is some of the best comedy that I've ever seen inside of anime, and it's so organic. You can just tell that Toriyama is just hilarious to just kick it
Piccolo
with. You know
roast you, bro.
I got him out of, from
me out of your closet.
Ew, Piccolo, what are you wearing?
Where did you get those clothes?
Such a great filler episode.
That's
good filler. That's good filler.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how you
definitely
do filler, man. Just make it comedy. Just make it all comedy. Don't try to do like a new plot. Don't try to have stakes. Don't try to have a big bad villain. Just do some funny shit, bro. Because then I'll watch it.
There were vehicles with wheels.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty confident that they were driving hover cars, smashing into each other and shit. You know, like, so it's like people are running around in hover cars. It's a really weird world.
One of my favorite Dragon Ball.
Advanced with dinosaurs running around too.
Yeah, exactly. And you have dinosaurs too. But one of my favorite.
Minks like dog people. And,
yeah. It's definitely very fantasy, but very sci-fi at the same time. And one of my favorite Dragon Ball manga covers is like way back before the time skip, and Goku's still a kid and he's riding with Bulma, and Bulma's got the fucking Playboy bunny like outfit on, and they're riding a hovercraft with Oolong in the back, like and they're driving through a place that looks like Shabandi Archipelago. You know what I mean? Like it's like bubbles everywhere and like really big trees, like tall trees and shit like that. It looks beautiful. Yeah, and that's one thing that I praise Toriyama for, is that his scenes even in black and white, looks so colorful. You can just imagine the color that's there. You know what I mean? When that's just always going to be one of my favorite covers. It's so simple. It's like minimal compared to all the other ones with like combat on the cover or something like that. But
you're talking about Dragon Ball era of Dragon Ball, right? And that's the thing. Like that was the Dragon Ball era. Yeah, exactly. Like I wish it could have stayed an adventure story like it was, because like it just really, like, you're right. Like all those old fucking covers and just the whole scenery in general, like, was really, really immersive. It was a really immersive story. I'll always say OG Dragon Ball is my favorite part of the whole thing. And like that's the reason. It's just like you felt like there was, I mean it's just obvious. There was more to the plot than just big bad that we have to beat.
Right? Really, there's more to everything. More to everything.
Man,
more to everything. Exactly.
My other favorite Dragon Ball cover is fucking Bulma with the fucking like dystopian Mad Max outfit on with the fucking like with submachine gun on a sling, and she's like dressed like Sarah Connor from Terminator. Bro. Oh my fucking god, dude. That is my number one undisputed favorite Dragon Ball manga cover of all time. It's a volume cover. Most
outfits and most hairstyles of any character.
I think so. She was on our. Actually, I just remember she was on our anime drip episode that we did. She was definitely. I brought her up. I think. Like briefly, maybe as like an honorable mention or a lightning round pick. I was just like, oh yeah, we got to throw Bulma in here, because she be drippy.
Well, let's get back to some more big brains, huh?
Yeah. Okay. And actually, I just remembered a couple that I have to shout out. Just for a couple reasons. These are literally, and I'll just speed right through them. These will be my lightning round picks or whatever.
Sure.
Just honorable mentions. Because I know that you guys don't read these stories yet, I don't think. But so Tower of God and Soul Cartel has two characters that are some of the smartest characters that I've ever seen in anything. I'll just lightly brush past them. So Faust inside of Soul Cartel is a small child who made a bet with a archdevil. So Soul Cartel is like a Judeo-Christian lore, very biblical like lore setting. So you have archangels, archdevils, and like a war between God and Satan, basically. And you have this human boy who made like a contract or a bet with Mephistopheles, which is one of the archdevils. And I can't remember like the terms of the bet or like what they were even betting about, but they're like rivals, you know what I mean? Like, and the whole story is how like this archdevil is having a hard time with a regular ass human. But this boy is different. Faust is different because he's actually lived two lives. So like one life he lived like all the way to the end until he beat Mephistopheles, technically, but then God intervened and was like, Mephistopheles was about to be like a sore loser and kill this kid. So God intervened and was like, all right, Faust, you get the W, go restart your life so you don't have a whole life of fucking battling with an archdevil. You know what I mean? Then he restarts his life and then Mephistopheles finds him again and recreates the bet. You know what I mean? So he didn't even get to actually be a kid. But this kid is fucking stupid smart, bro. He's one of those characters that, like we were talking about at the beginning of the episode, who like can predict and simulate like every possible outcome of any kind of situation. It has a million contingencies and like can just know the best route to go after considering everything. He's one of those kind of characters. The only feat that I'm going to throw out for him is in his previous life, he read all of the books in Heaven's Library. I'm just gonna throw that out for you right now. I'm just gonna throw that out. Yeah.
I read that. I got that far.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did read Soul Cartel. Yeah, you did read Soul Cartel.
And I've seen enough Tower of God.
So we're done with Faust. I just wanted to throw that out for any potential. I know Schnooty is a big Soul Cartel fan, like the only other one that I've ever known. So shout outs to Schnooty for the Faust lightning round pick there, honorable mention. But then Kun inside of Tower of God is more popular, so I feel like he has to be brought up on this episode because it's
just the lizard dude.
No, Kun is the Killua looking character with like the blue hair,
Killua kid with the
and
blue.
Like he's got the fucking like white button up with the tie and the suitcase and whatnot. So like he's wildly intelligent inside of his own story. But like the one thing that I want to bring up about him is that he is also like a Faust, or he's also like a one of those characters that thinks a million steps ahead or whatever. The contingency plans back up. So when they're in the hide and seek test before in the floor of test.
I know you don't think I know this, but I already do.
You've been watching it? Oh my god, that's amazing. Anyway, so the hide and seek test was drastic because it was all of these kids that are brand new to the tower, and the energy system inside of Tower of God is called Shinsu. So Shinsu is basically just life water that you can turn into energy, but the denser the Shinsu concentration is in a certain area, the harder it is to move through space. So they're doing this hide and seek game where they have to play hide and seek against a ranker, and a ranker is essentially in this world the same thing as a examiner from Hunter x Hunter. You're taking the test. The examiner is a million leagues above you because they know Nen and you don't, basically, most of the time, unless you're Hisoka or Illumi or Gita Rocker or whatever his alias is. But anyway,
that's it.
Yeah. Anyway, so when they're playing hide and seek, they're in a gigantic arena that has 2 exits, you know, or whatever. Either way, the point is to either take the tag from the ranker and tag your it, or evade the ranker and exit out the door before he finds who's it and takes their tag. So the ranker can move through the Shinsu no problem, has no deficiency in his speed moving throughout the room. But all of the kids are like, you know, like when you're in a dream and you're like trying to get to like the girl in the bikini on the beach, but you keep getting slower. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I'm always running from a dog, but okay.
Well, you know, you know what I'm talking about, though.
Trying to kill me.
Yeah. But basically, so Khun's role inside of Tower of God is a light bearer, and basically he has access to these cubes that illuminate the world around them so that people can see, their teammates can see better inside of the world. Otherwise, it's really dark. So he sits in a control room and looks and has cameras inside of the cube that can see the position of all of his people. And he's supposed to be in that control room giving light to people and telling them the moves that they're supposed to make. But he leaves the control room to like help his team. And the one that's it is the lizard girl, M.A.N.G.A, and she's running towards, you know, that he like his first plan, which is the one that they talk about at the deliberation. He's like, this is how we're going to do it. He's arrogant, so we're going to lead him into a false sense of security. Then we're going to steal the tag. That was like the plan that he told everybody. But the plan that he only told M.A.N.G.A was like, we're going to distract the ranker with that first plan, and make him think that someone else has the tag, and then you're gonna make a break for the exit. So they successfully like shiced him kinda, but they underestimate his speed and intelligence, and he like figures it out right away. It was like, nice try, but I know that your fucking tag is running towards the exit right now. So he books it towards the exit, beats up everyone on the way there with a quickness, and then and then gets to the last bridge before the exit, and Khun is standing there, and Khun is like, and he's like, you're a light bearer. What are you doing outside of your control room? And he's like trying to like buy time because he's behind her and there's no light, so he can't see that she's like, you know, running or whatever. And they had this like really battle of wits kind of conversation where the ranker is trying to find out why he's here. He's questioning Khun. Khun's keeping his cool, lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, she'll be out of here in no time. You know what I'm saying? We basically already won this shit. And he's like, nah. No. Where's your light bearer cube? Because he has that cube that illuminates everything. He's like, I destroyed one back there, but you've got another one. And I bet you your it is sitting underneath this bridge on that light bearer cube right now, waiting for me to leave and go try to like, because you're trying to make me think that she's over there. And Khun's like, what? Starting to get like flustered. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, no, man, she's gone. She's in the other direction. We're about to win. And he's like, nah, fuck that. And he grabs Khun, and she really is sitting on the cube underneath the bridge. Like the ranker figured that out, but he's like, fuck that. What are you going to do if I grab you and jump off this bridge right now? And he grabs Khun and he jumps off the bridge, and Khun's like, oh, and you think it's like over, but then the M.A.N.G.A, the girl that's it on the cube, has a weapon that's basically a big fishing line. As they're falling, he grabs the handle of the fishing line, which is connected to the cube underneath the bridge. So as he's falling, he's lifting her back up to the bridge, and then she bounces and the ranker falls all the way to the ground. Yeah, bro, it's so fucking sick.
Tight.
It is so fucking sick. And then you get like, and you want to know the craziest part about it? That's not even his entire plan. But like either way, that is the feat that I like wanted to throw out there, because that's
like the level of strategy we're talking about.
Yes, that is the level of like forward thinking and strategic thought. And I just had to bring up 2 Webtoon characters for Webtoon fans out there, especially Tower of God.
Sure.
I just remembered them and I was like, oh my God, we cannot do this without at least Khun.
I'll do a quick little lightning round character too that I didn't want to bring up, but it's just funny because my brother brought it to like reminded me of it. So obviously in Naruto there's a lot of big brain characters, right? And I mentioned like, hey, maybe, you know, whatever, Shikamaru's a good character, but I didn't want to cover him. But so what I'm thinking and talking to my brother, he's like, you know who actually is the biggest brain in the whole story? And I didn't really think about it, but we should, but it's at the end of the story. White Zetsu, right? The white Zetsu.
Yeah, wow.
But like I never thought of it like this. He's like, he's like, so you have Pain, and Pain's like, okay, I'm running shit. But then Obito is Toby, right? So like Obito is running shit. He's controlling Pain. And then Obito thinks he's in control. But then Madara is actually in control of him. And then he's like, okay, now Madara thinks he's running shit. And then fucking White Zetsu just like comes out the wall. And,
Yes.
I did all this the whole time. Like it was just hilarious.
Yeah,
like,
that's a very like underrated, slept on big brain play in Naruto that I like completely forgot until
like
right
the
now. Your brother said that.
Parasitic little weird ugly guy
in the wall, fly on the wall.
Fly in the wall. And that's why I was like, you should think that, but you just really don't. Because I don't know, me personally, it's like I was so like exhausted with Naruto by that time that it's like I don't really care about the plot as much anymore, even though like I know how it ends and stuff. I've seen it and watched or read it, but it's like it's just like I didn't really think about it. It's like, yeah, they actually had like 5 layers of I'm the guy, and it's always like somebody else above him, and then it just turns out to be White Zetsu the whole time. It was getting like bossed around and like told, and it was actually pretty good, but it's still, I don't know, it was just really surprising and weird.
Sure.
It works, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Fuck yeah, that's a great mention there. Fuck yeah. All right, who's next?
I have some that. We can't only have it be a lightning round pick. It has we have to go fully into it.
Yeah, let's focus
Promised
on it.
Neverland.
Oh yes, dude. Yeah.
The trio, you know what I mean? Emma, Ray,
we could talk
Norman.
about all of them.
You could talk about literally all 3 of them.
Especially Norman and Ray, obviously. I mean, like Emma's obviously incredibly smart herself, but like she's more empathetic.
See, that's the thing about Promised Neverland is that these kids are all wildly intelligent, but they just have other areas that they also excel in apart from the general like high IQ of all 3 of them. And I feel like in stories where you have the physical one, the intelligent one, the cunning one, that's all that they're good for. But no, these characters are all smart, and then Emma's just coincidentally the strongest one. And then Ray is just coincidentally like the skeeving, like backhand shady deal dude.
Right.
And then fucking Norman is actually the big brain, the biggest brain of them all. You know what I mean? And I loved that inside of early, Promised Neverland storytelling. Fuck yeah. Norman was different, man.
Norman, I mean, do you remember this feat? Like, he literally passed out from heat stroke, and Isabella is asking him complex math equations that he's solving while unconscious in heat stroke.
Yeah,
that's crazy. This is fucking
Isabella,
crazy. Like,
dude, God damn
I'm gonna
it.
keep you. I'm gonna keep your fucking health up by asking you complex mathematical equations. Like, and you just solve them. Well, on the verge, maybe possibly of death. I mean, you could definitely die.
Quiz time, pop quiz, surprise, dude. Norman was such a fucking goon, bro. And I want to keep it anime friendly, obviously. But if you guys did want to go into the manga, we can throw a warning out there right now, and I will throw a timestamp in the description. Like, we're about to start talking about Promised Neverland manga stuff right now. If you want to skip, go ahead and press the link in the description to skip past.
Let's try and keep it anime only for now, and we'll
for at least for now, okay. Because I do kind of maybe want to say 1 or 2 feats from the manga, but I mean,
in the anime, how he figured out Ray blew my fucking mind
he set
away,
the trap for Ray. Yeah, exactly. That was crazy.
God, bro.
Nobody saw that coming. I don't think that anybody saw that coming. Like, and that's we always talked about, like, how great the what the hell is the place called? Gracefield. The Gracefield arc is. Yeah. I was like, what the hell? Man, it's like I've erased the story from my memory. Like, we're done covering it. We're past this.
Yeah.
But no, like definitely for big brains, these are just great examples. And he taught all the kids like tactics, like thinking logically, escape tactics. He like taught them all, and by doing so, like, early on showed his leadership capabilities and how basically how when he makes this like a cohesive escape, they're all doing different thing or doing, they're all making it as hard as it possibly can for Crone, and it helps his goals by having everybody else around him be as proficient as they possibly can be.
Yes.
And so him to take kids that aren't scoring 300 on every single test, and raising
bringing them up to
closer
that
to that level
or closer to that level.
Definitely. That's huge.
And it's crazy how, like, even after his like death or after that he's sent out of the Gracefield house, like the story keeps giving him feats after that, like going back in the story, you know what I mean? And we could talk about manga stuff, like I said, a little bit later, but like just like as the story continues, even though he's gone now, we're still getting Norman feats, you know what I mean? And it's like,
his efforts ultimately helped him escape.
Yeah.
And even Gilda says, if we had Norman with us this time, this would have went much cleaner. Like we would have this would have went off without a hitch perfectly. There would be no uncertainty whatsoever if Norman was here. We still, because of Norman's efforts, we were, that definitely helped us escape. And which, it's so awesome to see like a character that's gone still be impactful in those moments. Definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Norman is a big one.
For me, it's gotta be Ray though. It's gotta be Ray for me.
Ray is my favorite for sure. Norman
playing the double agent, playing Isabella, and like he knows Isabella is his mother or whatever, right? And like because he like remembers being in the womb. That I don't know if it's like a big brain feat, but it's certainly like a mental feat that he remembers.
Yeah. The only other character in fiction that I know that remembers their birth is Doctor Doom. And, and that is top two smartest characters in the Marvel universe. You know what I mean? So like in the entirety of that 80-year lore, Doctor Doom, like that's a huge feat for Doctor Doom even. You know what I mean? So remembering your birth is a big deal. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing too. Well, if for Gracefield arc, it's Ray. But like once you get beyond in the manga, like that's where Norman really starts to shine a lot more. With, I mean, and he did shine a lot still in the Gracefield, but it was warming him up for later on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Ray definitely takes a back seat.
Yeah.
Pretty much the rest of the manga. After the anime, which is unfortunate. I really like Ray.
Very, very disappointing. Definitely.
But like Ray, another feat for Ray, he's like he's doing kind of sneaky ass shit for Isabella, being the double agent, in exchange for human world technology. Yeah. Right? He's trying to get like a camera because he wants a little piece of he knows how a camera works. Yeah. And he's like, I want this piece of the camera because I need this for this and this, because he's trying to build a machine. They all the kids figure out the tracking, like it's embedded in your ear or whatever, right? That like, the mamas know exactly where you are or whatever. And so he's building from pieces of other human technology, like an EMP or something. Fries the tracker. Nonsense. So
that's
crazy.
So fucking ridiculous, bro. Like what a gangster.
Definitely.
Yes.
And like Emma even like has like she's obviously not on par with Ray and Norman's intellect, but her instinctual intellect. Yeah. It's not just she's just still smart enough to get 300 on all the tests and then just stronger than them. Like she has the instinctual aspect that kind of like scales with her, superior strength to them. So like she can feel like what's the right thing to do, where Norman or Ray will deduce that exact same outcome with logic and reasoning. Emma will just feel that outcome and know that it's the thing that she has to do.
It's and that's also quality, right?
That's also
intuition,
something
instinct,
of note that you have to bring up for Emma's character, because
for sure 100%.
And I can't remember like too many moments of like Emma's like super big brain moments until the very end of the Gracefield House arc in the anime. But I feel like everything that she wanted to do, everything that she did that was a big brain play, was just like after her leg was broken and she still was teaching the kids things, I think, like low key, while she was acting depressed because she had to convince Isabella that her spirit and her morale was broken. But but behind the scenes, she was still tracking Mama's or Isabella's like movement patterns. So to know that when she's in one corner of the house, she can train the kids in other ways in another corner of the house. I think that is a testament to her intellect as well.
For sure.
Strategic. It's crazy how just to talking a little bit about Isabella. It's just so crazy that she was that era's Makima for us, right? Like at that time, like she was really like a very Makima-esque character,
very enigmatic, very what's going on with her, very secret, very like scared all the secrets, of her, very scared of her. Oh my god, very scary. Yeah,
exactly. So it was like that's just crazy, and it's just. I don't want to harp on the series too much, but it's like, man, it was so crazy. It was so back different.
See, back then in the anime era, and like the right after where the anime leaves off or whatever, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was peak. That was peak.
So good.
Yeah, you could tell that's where all the juice and all the passion was aimed for. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
definitely,
absolutely,
definitely. But I mean, if you want, we could talk about a few manga feats. If not, we can move on. I don't really care.
What's up to you guys? Do you guys think that we should?
I
feel like that was a really I feel like that was a really good spotlight for the Grace Fieldhouse.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. We can definitely move on. Definitely.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, who's next? Who do you guys want to talk about?
How about I got one. All right. We're about to get super Yes, we have to, because Franky is one of the most underrated brains in fucking anime.
Dude, he
because
totally
he's
is, bro.
Like
he's
funny
totally
trope
so
character.
True.
Yeah,
because it's just like he's just like a funny trope character a lot of the time, and that's it's great. Like he has a lot of great comedic fucking times. It's like his fights even are comedic, like, hey, you really think I'm about to get hit with your shitty sideburns,
or it's just back-to-back suplexes while like gushing over how manly each other is. It's definitely very gaggy, but like first and foremost, if you turn yourself into an android, you are a big brain, or a cyborg, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember what the difference is.
On the verge of death. It's his only option too, and it does it with fucking metal parts he finds from a fucking floating destitute ship.
Yeah, he's like a Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like dead ass serious. Like for real. Like you could drop Tony Stark. You could drop Tony Stark in the middle of the Gobi Desert, and he'll fly out on a jetpack made of fucking cactus needles and sand that runs on like salamander blood. You know what I mean? Like Franky is like that kind of fucking character. You know what I mean? And
I mean, there's so many things that he does that like I just
super
I don't
resourceful.
know if a lot of people talk about. I mean, first and foremost, he's creating the ship that's going to fucking surpass the Oro Jackson, right?
Yeah,
and
that's wild.
Yeah. And like, let's just talk about Thousand Sunny for a second, right? Yeah. Like, we have the Gow Wow Wow cannon, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're shooting bigger, stronger blue beams, bigger than Kizaru's, right? And that makes
laser beam technology that only Vegapunk knows.
Only Vegapunk knows, exactly. And that's the thing too. It's like in the time skip, he is fucking whisked away to Vegapunk's island and like
Bulgimore.
Yeah, and just like, oh shit, look at all these fucking blueprints. Look at all this shit. How you just don't take Franky for a guy to roll up in a fucking lab and read the most advanced scientist fucking notes, understand it, and
to the planet, most advanced in the whole world.
50 years. The world government said Vegapunk is 50 years at least.
I think it's 500.
They said 500. They said 500.
500 years.
Oh, damn. I thought it was always 50. Wow. That's
no, I think
another
it's
zero
farther.
there.
Yeah, I think so.
That's such a big deal.
Comments, let us know if that's correct, but I'm pretty sure it's 500.
I swear it's 500. I'm totally with you on that.
That makes a lot of sense too, because even though, definitely, that makes a lot of sense. But man, I want to say something that's kind of manga-ish, which is just a little, but okay, how about let's just real quick. This is just like kind of a quick spoiler thing. You should just tune me out.
Cover your ears.
Literally a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I'll keep my hands on my headphones while you should stop listening. But I can still hear. Yeah.
Do you think General Franky is going to have a beam standoff with Kaido?
Oh, wow.
I hope so.
Bro.
Dude, that would be drastic.
Okay.
I was thinking of Franky today, and I was just like, man, I was like, why haven't I thought of this yet? This is crazy. Like, this is so tight. So
that'll be crazy. I would love to see it. Yeah, is that
spoiler over?
That spoiler's over?
Spoiler
All right,
over.
You guys are good.
Okay. I mean, so
for those of you who are audio only, that was, well, I guess it doesn't matter because it's over now, so I can't really give you guys. I was gonna say it was only like 30. It was only like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's fine. That's not a big deal. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Our audio only listeners, I'm sure, are current in One Piece.
Yeah,
definitely.
What are you doing?
I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's a fucking story of the century.
Right.
Fucking. So anyway, he also, I mean, think about Shark Submerged, the Brachio tank, the Rhino, fucking like
his invention feats are disgusting, bro. There was a scene. Like, and I know that this was like supposed to be like comedic or whatever, but he was like making like escalating steps while standing on the ones previous. You know what I mean? Yeah, all the way up. I was like, bro, you're big as hell, first of all, so the physics doesn't really add up here, but like, I just love that.
What if he just has like an architectural mind, a structural civil
Oh
engineering
yeah, and
mind,
he just
and he
understands.
knows, like,
exactly.
I bet if I do it at this angle, if I go really
At
quick,
this
I bet I can
speed.
get the momentum to like
Oh my
really
god,
do this. Whatever.
bro. Frankie's different. Bro.
Keep in mind, Frankie was an orphan from some pirate crew, right, or something that God, what was his name? Don,
Tom-san, yeah.
Like took him in. So like clearly Frankie's intellect is he's basically like born really smart, right? Like it's not like he was like put in school or something, you know what I mean? Like he just like has this mind that can like really understand technology.
He was using the junk on Water 7 shores to create fucking ships to go out and fight fucking sea kings.
Yeah.
And that was like the first thing he was doing. And then he keeps getting fucked up and blown up and shit. And Tom's like, what the fuck you doing, kid? Like, hey, that's some impressive shit, though. You should come with me. Like, I'm about to show you how to really like,
so
make
that
a
way,
ship.
in that way, he taught himself. He taught himself through trial and error, going from Battle Frankie 1 all the way up to, obviously, Battle Frankie 37. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very impressive.
Definitely a sleeper big brain pick for sure.
Yeah, super sleeper big brain pick. I love that.
Also, the man who holds the blueprints of Pluton and understands them and can build Pluton right now. And most people have
memorize them. Memorize them.
He's already Pluton.
Yeah. So the Sunny is probably it makes the most sense that the Sunny would already be Pluton, and that's just a big reveal that we're gonna get later. But also at the same time, Oda's storytelling says if you leave a breadcrumb that big, he's gonna subvert that expectation in some kind of way. But it just doesn't make sense that we would get the scene with Iceberg where Frankie is like, I memorized these blueprints already, and then destroys them, and then builds a fucking ship afterwards that is gonna be better than the Oro Jackson, and we know that Pluton is a cannon type thing on a ship with hella cannon. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But we'll see how Oda does it. But yes, that is a big deal.
The way Pluton is always made to sound out like it literally shoots like a fucking world-ending nuke. Like it's that, I don't know. What's that bomb? The Tsar bomb.
The Tsar bomb. The Tsar bomb.
The Tsar bomb. Yeah, something like that literally would blow up fucking continents. That. And it's just like, I can't see Frankie. It would be so tight. Like if it was Pluton, everything but that. Like there were some other things about Pluton that made it really fucking super tight that didn't have to have the fucking world-ending nuke on it. Because Frankie, if you're building worldending nukes, what are we doing with that? We don't need that.
and I think that makes sense based on Frankie's backstory, where he was creating weapons for a long time, and him creating weapons ended up backfiring horribly. And so I do think he would purposely hold back and be like, I can make this a really good pirate ship. I don't need to make full Pluton because that's just a really bad idea from my own personal experience of making weapons.
I did this once before. My master died because of it. Like, I don't want it.
Or what if the Sunny is Pluton, and then like Caesar comes back into the story and gets on the Sunny and starts tinkering around with stuff, and Frankie's like, "Don't press that button," and it's like, "Oops!" It's like I was hiding that the whole time. That's the Pluton button.
Oh my god! Transformation.
It's like a gag, but also like a major part of the plot. Yeah.
I mean, it's good that you kind of bring up Caesar because there's a lot of big brains in One Piece. And Caesar's,
Caesar is definitely a good light mention. For sure.
Chopper
even.
Chopper, definitely.
Yes.
I mean, so think about it. Honestly, so you got Frankie, we have Chopper. Robin and Nami are just as much a big brains as they're just all utilized in different ways.
Yes.
I mean, technically, even Sanji. I mean, with the way his
cunning and his subterfuge and his espionage.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Usopp has some.
Usopp's an inventor too. Usopp is an inventor too. Wow. It's hard to remember these characters. He's an inventor too.
Exactly, and he's also a mentalist, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
the only dummies are like Luffy, Zoro, and Brook maybe, but Brook I think might be intelligent and
just because of his
he's like
experience.
Creative. And his experience, right? But like he definitely doesn't. I don't think he has really any big feats of intelligence.
It's just so hard to remember that these characters are smart as shit because they have such big personalities that shine through in comedic ways.
It's a comedic manga too.
It is a comedy, right? So like you forget, but like when the story really hones in on what their specialties are, you see wildly intelligent characters in all of these people, and it's like. And it's very easy to forget that.
Nami was drawing the most accurate maps on the planet at 8 years old, right? Her cartography is obviously the best in the world.
Right.
And how do you just look at a fucking clear ass fucking blank sky with no clouds and say, nope, we're getting hit with a hurricane in like 5 seconds?
Right.
It's like,
or now she basically has weather magic. She has meteorological knowledge so advanced that she can create weather, and everyone else thinks it's literal magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's that quote like? A technology sufficiently advanced will always appear as magic. You know what I mean? Like that's super big brain. Super big brain.
That reminds me of like what M.A.N.G.A used to call her, because she had like breast band witch or something like that. She just wore the little thing, and it's like that was hilarious. Like she's using magic. What the hell is going on here?
Right. Yeah, dude. These. I'm glad that we did a One Piece spotlight. Because honestly, they don't get enough love, and that was great.
For their brains.
Yeah, for their brains. That's
all these other things.
Great.
Exactly.
One that I feel like we absolutely, since we are kind of like reaching like the point in time that we should probably have for a tie-in episode. I want to go into one that's like super important. Meruem from fucking Hunter x Hunter is a really big deal.
Definitely.
Because like, first of all, you're 3 days old and you're ready to challenge the world's chess shogi, Go, and Gungi players. You know what I'm saying, bro?
And you beat the chess shogi players, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Go player, Go being a super difficult game.
And you want to say that it's like, oh, it's just, like a magical like feat of intelligence because you're a species that no one's ever heard of before. But Togashi had a contingency for that and introduced a scientific phenomenon called phagogenesis that fucking justifies the increase in not just power but intellectual fortitude and especially when you're eating human brains. Like it made it wasn't just shonen sense, like it made close enough to like actual sense to where it's like, I'm okay with this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, let me tell you something. When I'm reading this arc for the first time and Meruem comes out, it's a drastic scene. Okay, this is definitely the villain here, and what a villain we have here. What's the threat level like?
Right out the queen's womb.
Punches right out that shit and then starts eating his people, and you're like, okay, this dude is a son of a bitch already. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what are they gonna do about this dude? In his birth scene, I'm asking that because you got the prelude when Pitou was born, when Ramot's like character arc was like concluding, and he's like, I'm gonna be the king. I got Nen, I'm the king now. Boom, Pitou's born. Oh, just kidding, I suck. You know what I mean? And then the king is fucking born after that. You know what I mean? And it makes Pitou's look, and you know that he's wildly more strong than you know Pitou or whatever. But then like you don't expect the deep dive into his intellect. And let me tell you, man, when I'm reading the Chimera Ant arc for the first time, and I turned the page, and it's a double spread of Meruem in a library just reading books. I was like,
"That's scariest thing ever."
That was the scare. I was like, "Oh,
it's so
no,
crazy
dog.
How that's scary, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
How is just that somebody in the library reading books that scary? But it's like this man can't be learning.
We don't need him learning. He's already strong enough. Like, don't give him no books, bro.
He only lives for a total of 40 days. Right. And way before that 40-day mark, he already basically understands all of human geopolitical stuff, economics, conflicts, wars. He like understands basically the entire planet. Enough to be like really talking really hard, like philosophical conversations with Netero in their
and
fight.
Swaying his heart towards his side. And Netero has to be like, all right, I got to kill this motherfucker quick before we become best friends. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we're about to go get a beer. If we don't chill, I need to knock this dude the fuck down right now.
And bringing up Netero, like just the fact that on a strategic level, he's counting the moves and predicting which limbs he's cutting off, right? Like it's like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then your arm's gonna be off.
Well,
like, if I do this series of 30 moves, you tend to block this instead of this. You know what I mean? And so I'm gonna exploit that.
This is the craziest thing about Meruem's strategic mind to me. This is his scariest factor and quality, is that in his games with Komugi and Gungi, he failed so many times against what looked like an impenetrable like strategy game offense and defense. He was like, I have no idea how to deal with this. Because of that failure was born the critical thinking necessary to defeat Netero. And you can compare Netero and Komugi to where he never beat Komugi and Gungi, but he beat Netero. So you can scale Komugi and Netero's strategic application of their prowesses against each other. And Netero was worse at fighting than Komugi was at Gungi. You know what I mean? Because
in other words, Netero's strategy is not as well developed as Komugis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And the reason why Meruem is so frightening is because he already said it in his dialogue, in his internal monologue. He was like, this dude is moving at speeds I can't match. And his 100 hands on his Bodish Tava, coupled with the sporadic knowledge that the knowledge of the sporadic movements he needs to make sure that I don't predict his movements, is going to create way too many different possibilities for me to be able to counter before I'm defeated. But regardless of how much forethought you have and all of the fucking all of the probability involved, you are still going to show bias towards certain moves. And there is going to be a pattern that's eventually revealed, which is the fucking hole in the needle that he needs to thread his attack through. And that is I literally have chills just remembering the dialogue right now.
That first scene where he takes off, what does he take off first? His arm or whatever?
His right arm.
Yeah.
Yep. And then no.
Do biases and then
no. It's his.
Was it leg first?
It's his left arm and right leg.
Yeah,
because it's the same. It's the same. It was foreshadowed actually in the Hunter exam when
that he only used his right arm and left
in the ball test, in the Hunter exam. In the Hunter exam. Remember when he was playing keep away with Killua and Gon? He only used his left arm and right leg. It was foreshadowing.
Get out of here.
Togashi, dog. Togashi deserves to be, and we are highlighting him right now, but Togashi's on this list.
Togashi, big brain.
Because technically in Hunter, every character's a big brain. Basically
that's
everybody's
the
a big brain.
You have to be a big brain to just live and exist in this world.
Yeah.
And to get anywhere in it. Anyone that's not at a certain level of intellect inside of Hunter x Hunter is a fodder character. You're either even the fodder characters are wildly intelligent considering their fodder characters. There are no idiots in this story.
Even those, the mafia type dudes had really high levels of deductive reasoning that they were going through, and yet they just didn't have the strength to really act on it.
They're not. No one is dumb in this story. They just had they just had a bad day, ran into the wrong person who was just smarter and stronger than them. But no one is dumb. Even Tonpa is smart as shit.
Even Gon is in some scenes portrayed as a bit of a dummy. Like say he's fighting Knuckle and he just he can't fathom all this math.
No, his ears are smoking and shit. Yeah, all the numbers. That's one of the greatest scenes, definitely.
But even Gon the dummy, quote unquote, is still really high level strategy, intellect, intuition, instinct. He has a strategic mind to him for sure.
Yeah. And I love talking about Gon. I love his prowess with women, and Killua, and he's telling Killua, I used to date women all the time. Don't worry, this ain't shit. I'm fine with Palm. And Killua's what the fuck are you talking
wait a minute, bro.
What? And he's Gon's this is nothing. This is a walk in the park for me. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine with Palm. She ain't stabbing me. Don't worry about it. Are you sure she ain't stabbing you? Because all she's been is this the whole fucking show.
And that scene is so funny because Killua is obviously going to be taken aback by information like that because he's sheltered, shut in, only known one kind of life. Dating is so far outside of the realm of possibility for him to have ever experienced anything about in his life. And then here you have Gon saying, I do that all the time. But at the same time, it's still cute because Gon's not really dating this woman. He's just hanging out with them. He's never gone anywhere farther than a handhold. You know what I mean? So it's not really, it was just such a cute, funny scene in that way, on both sides of their character.
Definitely. It's, honestly, it's what maybe I'm a little wholesome here, and I just that's what I envision male prostitution to be, is it's just companionship, right? We just hang out, because women aren't gross like men, right? They just want somebody to hang out with, that. And so it made so much sense to me. I'm of course that's what he does. He's the greatest guy ever. Everybody would pay to hang out with Gon. I would too.
I would pay to hang out.
I would just exactly. I just love this kid. I did. It made so much sense to me at the time too.
That's funny as hell.
I want to go back to a little bit because Meruem literally just reads the instruction booklet of the game, and it took him 3 days to beat the chess guy, then it's 2 days to beat the shogi guy, and then it's fucking 20 hours to beat the go guy. Right. It's with every one, he's just clearly developing. We get to just travel with him on this journey of intellect, and he's gaining more and more knowledge, and it's Yeah, I mean, it's literally a different adventure than most, because
Wow,
it's like
that's
you're
beautifully
really
said.
actually, you're definitely like growing with him the whole time, and it's really amazing to just see like this. It's Meruem in these 40 days of life has more character growth than so many characters that you'll ever see ever, and like villains. So much pathos, so many it's just so good.
Togashi's
so
really good about that,
done.
dude. Like Ramot's character, Ramot has a complete character arc in like 7 episodes. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets more development. He gets a more complete character arc than like most characters in anything that we fucking read about. You know what I mean? Like fucking Ramot, dog. Like stop it, bro. Like Togashi's fucking different, bro. Wow. Yeah,
definitely.
I'm so glad that we spotlighted fucking
hiatus to stop.
Like, oh my god.
We need chapters.
Right away. But at the same time, it's like, man, if there is like a slight chance that the reason why these breaks are as long as they are in between chapters is because Togashi is making sure that the quality of his story remains consistent, because the last thing we want is for the storytelling quality to taper, you know, because he's taking on like he's biting off more than he can chew. You know
it's
what I mean?
been so high level for so long that he has to constantly like improve on his brainedness, right? How do you do that?
Yeah,
like,
because he created an energy system that is that is something that he himself can study, even though he's the creator of it. He's like, okay, so I've established such a perfect energy system here. Now let me study it for like a couple of years so I can see how I can improve my story based on it with possibilities I hadn't even considered that are capable inside of the energy system. I'm sure that's he's got all kinds of graphs and shit from the creation he made on his wall. Like, can I find new combinations that make sense, you know, to this system? You know what I mean?
It's like the meme where like it's the couple sleeping together and like the husband's like laying a different way. Thinking about girls, and Togashi's got an end going on.
Oh my god.
Funny as hell, bro. Oh my god. Okay, Meruem. I'm so glad that we highlighted it for a minute here.
One of my favorites.
Definitely,
for sure.
Definitely. One of the greatest characters of all time.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. No question.
Definitely.
Well, you guys, that is going to do it for this incredible conversation that we have had tonight. Big brains in anime and manga, the smartest characters, frightening intellects. This was an incredible discussion that I'm so glad that we had. We hope you guys had a lot of fun with it, because we sure had a fucking blast. Okay. And before we go ahead and sign off tonight, I do want to remind you guys to take a look at the link tree down in the description. That is going to be where you see us on all of our individual social media accounts, like Twitter. That is going to be where you see us on all of our audio-only platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, what have you. All our other Project Manga-related online communities like Facebook and Discord. And, of course, ways to support the Project Manga podcast inside of our Patreon, which we definitely implore you to consider supporting us on there, because we have so many amazing perks available to you, like early access to all of our content and additional manga reviews in the form of book club recommendations and a completely separate shonen manga podcast that covers other stories from Jump and Jump Plus that you won't find normally on our regular YouTube show. But that is going to do it for this episode of the Project Manga podcast inside of the Tangential tie-in series. Signing off, I am Noxie.
Peace, y'all. It's the biggest brain, Kiko, out here.
And Nickums.
Catch y'all next time.
Have a good night.